If you spend even 5 minutes on YouTube looking up drone videos, you've seen the pitch. Get your Part 107 license, buy a drone, and start making six figures next month. By the way, if they call it a license, you should avoid them. Sounds amazing, but as someone out here is actually trying to do the work, I need to tell you what those videos leave out. The reality in the field is very different. I see guys get hyped up, drop 5,000 to 10,000 on a drone setup, high-powered PC, software, insurance, and then go out of business within 12 months. A Part 107 certificate is not a money maker. It's just legal permissions to operate a business. If you don't know how to run a business, that certificate is just an expensive piece of paper. To even start, you need a drone, extra batteries, field gear, commercial insurance, software subscriptions, computer storage, and a reliable vehicle. And don't forget the regulatory landscape. If the restrictions hit major brands like we're expecting, replacing that gear with non-DJI enterprise gear means your hardware costs could easily go up as much as 5 to 10 times overnight. Talk about real estate first. This is where just about everybody starts. The jobs pay $70 to $150. The competition's insane, and you're fighting against unlicensed real estate agents taking their own photos on the side. You can't live off 2 or 3 of these jobs a week, and as the prices of equipment soars, the agents will probably go more towards AI for movement and overhead views. By the way, you'll also need a DSLR or a mirrorless camera to do most of these jobs. Mapping pays a little bit better, and I'm just talking about the data taking portion, not the analysis. 125 to 150 for basic data capture, sometimes a little more if you're going to be there longer. But the jobs increasingly require RTK accuracy. High-end software and RTK network subscriptions can run 100 to 300 plus a month, at least. You can make this a little bit better by looking for flexible pay-as-you-go month-to-month RTK options. I found one that was $40 a month called RTK Data. Was one of the only ones I could find that was low price and did it by the month. I've tried others in the past, but the accuracy was suspect. It took almost a whole battery pack to lock, and they wanted a year contract to get the low price. So you can look at this instead of locking into massive annual contracts when you're on low volume like most of us are. Yeah, I personally love playing in this arena, especially when it requires some 3D modeling. The models look better when the software knows exactly where the pictures are taken. Let's see, agriculture. High equipment costs, plus most large farms are either going to hire dedicated enterprise firms or buy their own gear to fly in-house. It's a hard market to break into as a solo pilot. Then you have stuff like power line inspections, cell tower inspections, solar farm inspections, and a lot of these are being picked up by in-house people at the companies that are in charge of taking care of them. Now, one of the ideas I have for getting involved with stuff like that is to actually look at the mechanical and electrical components that you're going to be looking at and make sure you understand the systems, because the companies are going to be hiring people that know the systems and then teaching them drones rather than taking a drone person and trying to teach them how to look at, equipment. Then you finally got roof inspections, which generally are lower, lower priced items. But if you do enough of them, they can make you a little bit of money. The other things I've seen is because the market seems to be flooded with new Part 107 holders. Most of them are desperate to recover their equipment costs. The drone service providers are exploiting it. I'm seeing listings for $70 jobs that require a $2,000 drone in 4 or 5 hours. and for some reason people snap them up. So let's look at a standard $70, real estate job or a quick oversight job that new pilots jump at. Here's the real math behind them. Okay, you look at your batteries. You're going to run through $6 worth of batteries. Just on an average, this is what I run through. Wear and tear plus gas to drive to and from the site. You can calculate that by cost per mile. Depreciation and factoring the life of your drone and equipment. Insurance and overhead, your monthly software, insurance, tax share, though you still can use by the job insurance to keep the monthly cost down if you want. For me, the total calculated overhead is for one of those $70 jobs would be about $48. So that leaves me with $22 gross profit. But the job took 1 hour of flight planning, maybe airspace authorization, an hour on site, 1 hour of file management, and data transfer. Just worked 3 hours for $22. That's less than $7.50 an hour before income tax. So you aren't running a six-figure business like that. You're subsidizing somebody else's profit. So why does this happen? New pilots think it only takes 30 minutes in the air. They aren't accounting for the travel, wear, prep, or taxes. Taking these jobs tell brokers they can keep driving the rates down. These are just my thoughts about how the industry is going to move. I'm expecting more and more jobs in the drone industry to become increasingly more corporate, meaning the drone entrepreneurs may be a dying breed in the future, especially with the death of the local low-cost drone. Corporate entities can afford to pay the $35,000 a drone, but they'll only use them for inspections, high-end stuff, both thermal and mechanical, and eventually more survey types of jobs. This is where most of the drone jobs will be in the future. There will also be small groups of jobs available in the media where they can also afford the high-cost stuff, like commercials, movies, and news. As far as agriculture, I think the large agricultural entities will hire or train their own pilots from within. The pretty pictures of commercial and residential real estate will go to AI, since they won't be able to afford to hire somebody with a $35,000 drone. The real estate agents are already pushing you down to nothing. Will go to AI and now increasingly ground video. Again, I believe most of the pilots at commercial entities will be training from inside their companies and from specialists within their company. Why bring somebody from the outside and still have to do your own analysis when you can use somebody that can spot a problem and already know what to do about it? This is what I would recommend you do immediately. Learn photography before you worry about flying. Flying is easy. Taking good pictures that people want isn't. For most jobs, you will definitely need a DSLR or a mirrorless camera anyway, and you need to learn how to use it. Things that you need to do right away when you decide you do want to go into drones. Analyze your local market. Before spending a single dollar on hardware, see what services local businesses actually need and what the competitors are charging. Know your operating costs per hour. Calculate battery cycles, fuel, insurance, software, and taxes into every quote. Set realistic expectations. Be ready for unpredictable work schedules and seasonal lulls. Look, I love flying. Being an entrepreneur, traveling, working outside is fantastic. But passion doesn't pay your mortgage or put food on your table. Solid business planning does. Treat this as a business from day one. Enter with your eyes open and don't fall for the hype.